Vengeance of Bane #1 special. This is a 64 pager. We're going to go through this as quickly as possible, just so I'm not here forever. I want to remind everybody that please make sure you like the hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, so I can keep bringing you this great kind of content like this, where we're looking at actual good comics from the time. This is 1993, #1, first appearance and origin of Bane. Batman Vengeance of Bane. Let's talk about it. Now, there's no need to review this comic because it's a 10 out of 10, in case if you didn't know. So we're not going to review it. We're just going to go through how awesome it is. This is the beginnings of Bane here. You see, his father was a rebel. He was captured here. His mother was pregnant with him at the time, and the way that the law worked was that an unborn male child would receive the same penalties as the father. If it was a female child, then no. So basically, it's life imprisonment for Bane. His name is never given, and created by Chuck Dixon for this one. And as a child, he witnesses all these sort of atrocities. He grows up in like the most brutal place you can imagine. He's treated like garbage. There's the warden. He's thrown into solitaries by himself. All these weirdo guys are trying to use him and take advantage of him. They don't go too far. This is still early 90s. They're not going too far into what's really going on, but this is still pretty not graphic, but pretty heavy. This is pretty heavy. Even for, 90s, you definitely got heavier stuff. But this is pretty heavy for mainstream Batman. We're not talking like Watchmen or something like that, right? So anyways, he kind of has a vision of what he's going to look like. And he literally, and there's this bat creature thing that he's scared of. Not going to be scared of that too much longer, as we know what happens with Batman and Bane, of course. Bane is an absolutely fantastic character who has really just been underappreciated in mainstream media. Batman and Robin, of course, was his first film appearance, and he looked amazing. Like, he looked good, but he was just basically a dumb oaf, and he was Poison Ivy's limo driver. And it's that's one of the sins of that movie. That movie does do a lot of sinning, but that's probably the biggest sin, really. So here he is in solitary for years. I think it's like 10 years or whatever. And the place gets flooded, and he has to fight these rats, and he eats fish. And he's labeled an animal. He grows up almost like Tarzan, but Tarzan in a prison cell. He uses his imagination to keep himself sane. He starts to learn language. Once he gets out and back into the general population, he makes friends. What's a great thing about Bane is that he has his little posse of guys. There's a bird guy here. So he meets all these guys in prison. This is all laid out in this first fantastic origin story issue. Normally, I'm not a big fan of elongated origins, but it was done so well in this comic. Showing here Bane is learning different languages. He is reading books, more books. He's becoming very intelligent. While he's working his mind, he's working his body. So we're talking about a guy here who is peak human fitness, super intelligent, badass fighter, fighting in prison. This is like Conan the Barbarian fighting in the pits and shit like that. Look at how badass all this is. And then this is the bird guy that he meets. So he meets other guys here. They tell him about Gotham City and that there's this giant Batman who basically runs Gotham City. And he's like, oh, a giant bat, eh? Well, I'm not too scared of that. Prison riot occurs. Bane takes this opportunity to literally murder everybody. Now you got this doctor here. Now, this is the introduction of Venom. Now, just think about all of these things. Usually these characters have a very quick origin, and then they kind of develop the characters as they go along, like Joker or Penguin or Riddler. Great Secret Origins comic. I should review that. Giving Riddler, Penguin, and Two-Face's origin. I had that, have that as a kid. I still have it. And, but look at how great this is. This is one. Now, it is a 64 pager, so it's a larger comic, but every single thing you know about Bane is written into this story here. Now, this is the Venom that's getting pumped in and making him even better. So just think, he was already so formidable just as his personal self, but now being pumped with the venom and getting even more strength. So he pretends to he fakes his death. This is a typical prison escape thing, so really nothing new there. But I mean, what else are you going to do? He comes back. He kills the warden. He rescues his buddies. So he's got loyalty to his buddies. That's another great trait of Bane. If you're with them, you're with them. He's able to escape, and he goes. If there's the warden getting thrown into the sharks. So there's his buddies there, all trying to, replicating the formula. Now you've got his full costume pretty much here. Gets the mask. That's got the things where you could fit the tubes in. And there you go, Bane as we know him. An absolutely 10 out of 10 design, no question. Bane is one of the coolest looking Batman villains. Busts in here, takes over this guy's like operations, and asking about Batman and what's going on. This guy's a no-nos or something. So he's of course killed. Batman comes on the scene. We're gonna go a little quicker to get this through here. So yeah, Batman's investigating this. All these guys are dead. Bane clocks Batman. He's like, okay, I know who this guy is. I've seen him. Bane starts to see that Batman. First, he wants to observe Batman to see how he fights and how he operates. And he starts to learn that Batman doesn't kill, and he thinks that's interesting. Batman doesn't kill. I could perhaps use that in some way against him. He's like, you do not kill. There's absolute, look how awesome, look how badass that is. And it's like, okay, the gloves are off. I'm throwing down the ultimatum. And he's like, okay, you're threatening me. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And we're pretty much going to conclude here. You don't get Bane and Batman fighting each other yet. This is just an introduction of Bane to say like, oh, what is he going to do when all this is over? But what an absolute masterpiece comic. To have a character so well developed in the first appearance. I was actually slightly shocked that this was his first appearance. I'm still like in slight disbelief that all of this we got in one super special comic. Again, normally you get very quick origins, and then they get, characters get sort of developed as other writers come in, but so much to be given to us in one comic is fantastic. And Bane, definitely one of the coolest characters. He's definitely growing in my estimation. I used to have Bane maybe in like the top 10 of my favorites, but that's because I never really went back and read this. When this had come out, I thought, oh, it's okay. Why is Batman not in it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Batman fan. I'm not really the villains fan. My favorite villain is Penguin, which, I just thought he was kind of neat, a little short, fat guy with umbrellas. I thought he looked cool. And Burgess Meredith was just such a fun character. Obviously, Joker, Riddler, anyone from the Batman Adam West show is definitely kind of my tops. I enjoy Mad Hatter. I think he's kind of really cool and crazy. So I like those characters. Bane, he would have been like maybe like, top 8 or 9 or something like that. And then for Batman Day, I thought, let me go back and really let me deep dive Bane a little bit. I was thinking about watching Dark Knight Rises again, and I was thinking back to Batman and Robin and how I felt that they kind of ruined Bane at the time. When I saw that movie in the theater, I didn't really know Bane. I didn't really understand his character. I kind of saw like the visuals. I was like, yeah, this guy, he's kind of cool. And I thought, oh, I guess he's just like, I knew the Venom thing. That's about it. Like, I was like, oh yeah, he's like a Venom guy or something. He gets some kind of chemical. I didn't really understand the character. So when I saw that movie, I thought he looked cool. I was like, well, this guy's awesome. And then later on, I remember talking to one of my buddies who was pretty heavy into it. And he's like, oh yeah, this character is like great, but he's kind of ruined here or whatever. So I don't remember exactly. So, and I remember getting this and I thought, yeah, it was okay. Like I wasn't dying over it that much. But I was too young to appreciate how great the story was. So going back for Batman Day, which is yesterday, and I went back. I thought, let me really deep dive this. Like, let me look at this now to today's eyes. The last time I would have seen this comic would have been mid '90s. Like, I didn't get it when it came out. I don't own it. I think my friend loaned it to me to read and to check this out. And I thought, yeah, it's okay. I wasn't dying over it. but now I am dying over it. It's pretty damn awesome. And Bane is quickly moving up the ladder. So I'm going to continue on this Nightfall journey, probably just personally. I probably won't do many videos on this. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Should I do more Nightfall stuff? I've read the next few issues already just because I got really into it. So I don't know, should we deep dive this thing or should we just, leave it at that? Let me know. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.